Hello, welcome to another inappropriately gropey episode of Techspert Weekly. And loyal viewers will be possibly happy to hear that after recent episodes, I actually don't have any trouserial tragedies to mention this week. And although I'm also relieved that my guts have been in full working order for a change this week, it also means I sadly don't really have any kind of intro for this week's show. So let's not bother with any of that then. Techspert Weekly! So next Wednesday, May the 15th, Sony Mobile bigwigs will swagger onto a virtual stage and whip out a fresh new pair of Xperia smartphones, their cash-guzzling Xperia 1 Mark VI flagship, and a considerably more affordable alternative in the Xperia 10 Mark VI. I've already done an episode of Techspert Weekly where I read out a bunch of leaky bollocks on the Xperia 1 Mark VI, so now it's the turn of that more affordable smartphone. And by all accounts, despite the cheaper asking price, it sounds like the Xperia 10 Mark VI may well not be a dripping bag of man-squirt. Leaked images and specs reveal that the Xperia 10 Mark VI is once again pleasingly dinky at around 6.1 inches, making it one of the only compact phones of 2024. It should be comfortable to clutch with its dinky design and curvy edges, and should also slide into a pocket easier than a handful of greasy poke balls at an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. A quick tip on that front actually, try lining your trouser pockets with freezer bags like so, and then you can pocket as much deep-fried goodness as your pants can handle without risking the perils of scorching hot oil penetrating through to your supple, saggy, fleshy bits. Always gets a few raised eyebrows in casualty, that. The colour options for the Xperia 10 Mark VI appear to be black, white, or a hazy blue, kinda like the colour of Rainbow Dash, my favourite My Little Pony, by which I of course mean my daughter's favourite My Little Pony. What even is My Little Pony? And hopefully the Xperia 10 Mark VI should once again be IP68 water and dust resistant, so it can take a full-on submerging in a sink or a bath or whatever. Fairly rare feature at this sort of price point. It's something the likes of the Samsung Galaxy A35 that offers that full reassurance. And you can expect Gorilla Glass Victus up front for a bit of extra protection, but just a placky back as usual to save on costs. The Xperia 10 Mark VI should sport an OLED screen, which according to quite a few leaks will no longer be a stretched 21:9 display, but rather a more regular smartphone shape. That's a real shame, as I love having something long and skinny in my hand. Fnar fnar, eh? Wink wink, just like your mum, etc. And such a big change would unfortunately mean that the Xperia 10 Mark VI loses out on some of that distinctive Sony identity, which I do rather love. But most of the leaked renders appear to show the same stretchy design as all of the old Xperias. So hopefully all of these more squat Xperia rumours are just a whole bunch of codswallop, unless the renders themselves have actually been stretched to throw us all off, in which case, fair play Sony, you massive japesters. Regardless, the Xperia 10 Mark VI should boast the usual advantages over many rivals like an actual headphone jack and expandable storage. And another big question, will we finally get a 90Hz display on the Xperia 10? Given that pretty much every other budget and mid-range phone updated that 60Hz bollocks ages ago. As for the performance, well, there's already been a massive leak there. The Sony Xperia 10 Mark VI has apparently been geek-benched ahead of the launch, and it'll come packing a Qualcomm Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 chipset plus 8 gigs of RAM, which just happens to be the exact same setup as Honor's Magic 6 Lite, which I recently reviewed. And Honor's budget-friendly blower generally didn't hate life, although the camera was occasionally a wee bit laggy. And if you want to play games like Genshin Impact, you'll need to scale down those graphics, or the Xperia 10 Mark VI will probably chug like a reliant robin struggling its way up the Brecon Beacons with a dead cow stuffed in the trunk. Best stag do ever, that. As for the battery size, well, probably no surprises there. Expect another 5000 mAh capacity jobby, same as its predecessor, with not terribly fast charging support. And it appears the Xperia 10 Mark VI will sport a dual lens camera setup, meaning that Sony is ditching the basic telephoto shooter of previous models. Instead, you'll just have to digitally zoom using the primary shooter, which we're yet to see a proper leak about. The secondary lens you can assume is an ultra-wide shooter, and the only other thing we know for sure is that there's bugger all dedicated shutter buttons slapped onto the edge of the Xperia 10 Mark VI, unlike that snazzy flagship phone. So are you excited about Sony's budget bugger? And will it be a worthy skin-flinty alternative to the regular Xperia 1? please do express your feelings down in the comments below, possibly in the form of a limerick or a sonnet if you're feeling a bit fruity. And now it's time for the part of the show that's a rather unsatisfying climax, so very much not like spending the night with your mum. It's viewer comments. Viewer comments. So, mixed comments about last week's episode. Theodore Teckers says that Jacob Rees-Mogg image needs to be bleached out of my memory ASAP. Thanks for the trauma, Techspert. And Sotos Matthew says, I'll never watch this channel while eating again. That bathroom talk ruined my lunch. Yeah, deep apologies. Ruining people's minds and appetites is basically my specialty. Saturn Blue says, it's now been a month without you reading out any of my comments. How am I supposed to fill my socks with excitement now? Well, I hope that sock's within easy reaching distance, fella. Etienne Sharp says, Budweiser is as much the king of beers as I am the king of Sweden. Yeah, it's just really not very good, is it? And then, of course, they concocted Bud Light and somehow magically made piss water taste even worse. I mean, honestly, that's the kind of skill that I thought only someone like Beelzebub would possess. It actually deserves some kind of award. And Gutvalst says, Heineken is my favourite beer. I'm going to therefore assume that you've only ever drunk Heineken and Budweiser. Bry6314 says, my coconut rum event was Orange MD 2020. 30 years later, I can still taste it and it makes me feel violently ill. What the ruddy heck is MD 2020? Okay, according to this random website, MD 2020 is a grape wine made from juicy, luscious fruit infused with tasty flavours to create a unique variety of selections. This basically sounds like VK or WKD or something like that. Got strawberry flavour, pineapple, orange jubilee, kiwi lemon. It looks like the kind of stuff that'll turn your rainbow coloured for about a week. Xerxes Vortiger says, I was having an ice cold Asahi while watching this. It was from one of those just bigger than a pint bottles and it was spanktastic. Oh, not at all jealous. Next time you're up this way, fancy a pint. I always constantly fancy a pint, basically, and I do love me a bit of Asahi as well. Always reminds me of the all too brief amount of time I spent in Japan and those awesome vending machines you'd find just plonked on the street with like 10 different types of Asahi. Like all different colours, but you had no idea which was which, and some of them were, you know, like super low strength alcohol, some of them were like special brew strength. Those were the good ones, obviously. And actually choosing one was a proper full-on Russian roulette. You never knew what you were gonna get. Cactus Farmer says, watch that shitty Motorola Desert promo film. They did a bang-up job of keeping you out of the final edit. Call yourself an influencer. I absolutely do not call myself an influencer. Whenever anyone asks, my official job title is YouTube. And yes, it does indeed look like Motorola has posted up a video of all the Morocco launch shenanigans up on their YouTube channel. And there I am at 1 minute 58 precisely. You'll see that speck of light shining off of a hairless scalp right at the back there. Yeah, none of the Brits who are on this Motorola Marrakesh trip actually seem to make it into that video, and probably for a very good reason. We were the tosspot sprawled across the bar as soon as it opened. We basically snarled at anyone who came anywhere near us clutching a camera. And yeah, no shots of me in the old hot air balloon either, mostly because I was cowering, curled up in a ball, shivering at the bottom of the basket and trying desperately not to soil myself. Now, we've had a fair bit of correspondence about the iPhone SE 2024, which was the tragic topic of last week's episode. So Nin Carter says, wish I could afford an iPhone without selling my built-in natural water processing plant. I have so many questions about that. John's CU4KV says it would make more sense if they did a 12 or 13 mini chassis for the SE4. Yeah, absolutely. Those minis were the best iPhones easily. So yeah, so like a mini iPhone 12 or an iPhone 13 mini with an updated chipset for around sort of 400-ish quid would be absolutely banging. Gamoral says, knowing Apple, they'll probably give it last year's CPU, a 60Hz display and 64 gigs of storage. Yeah, can't disagree there. It's the storage thing that really annoys me, because you're like, oh, iPhone SE, it's affordable, apart from if you actually want a respectable amount of storage chucked in there, well, that's another 200 quid usually, knowing Apple. Mythic Suns says, I'm hoping the SE4 will settle on a fingerprint sensor built into the power button. As far as cutting corners goes, a fingerprint sensor is fairly standard even on budget phones, so it shouldn't add too much to the price. Yeah, I really do not know why Apple is so absolute dead against putting in-display fingerprint sensors on its iPhones. The only thing I can imagine is that they've tried to do an optical sensor in the past and they f***ed it right up. But yeah, but anyway, if anyone's any the wiser, definitely let us know in the comments. And Mythic Sons also says, did you just call it Dragon Ball Z? Mate, I know we're Brits, but Dragon Ball Z is the exception to the Z equals Z rule. I disagree. You know, if we just roll over on all this Americanism shenanigans just once or twice, you know, before you know it, we'll be calling pavements sidewalks and drinking a gallon of Mr. Pibb every day for breakfast. Is Mr. Pibb actually still a thing, or do I need to badly update that reference? Sakiba says, bruh, why will there be a notch above the screen if there's no face scanner? Just to keep the iPhone luck? And I think the leaks suggested that the iPhone SE 2024 will still have an actual selfie camera, it just won't have the depth scanner or whatever else it uses to do the whole Face ID shenanigans. And the reason it'll still be a big, fat, ridiculous mustache notch is because Apple's basically just reusing the template for the iPhone 14 or whatever. But as I said last week, Mystic Chris reckons that there will indeed be Face ID support on the iPhone SE, and all these rumours are just a whole bunch of sweaty nads. And next up, Zippy Finley Adventures says, the SE phone needs a self-destruct button, and you should give Kozel beer a go. Oh, I'm way ahead of you on that one, good buddy. I've smashed more than my fair share of Kozels way back in the day when going to Prague was what, like 40 quid return on EasyJet, and then you could get absolutely bollocksed all weekend on like a tenner. What an absolutely golden time to be alive that was. And Grebo and Gaspod says, seeing as we've both been around a few pubs in our time, do you remember the original Dog Bolter beer from Firkin Breweries? During my misspent youth in the 80s and 90s, you could win a t-shirt if you could drink 10 pints and still leave the pub standing and not vomit. Ah, those were the days. If ever there's a t-shirt that will be immediately doused in stomach juices, it's certainly that one. Sadly, Dog Bolter beer passed me by, but I've just seen that it's been reincarnated by West Berkshire Brewery apparently, so I'll have to see if I can hunt down some. Alright, desperately running low on time now, so a couple of comments. Silent Reader 77 says, hello Techspert, any plans for an HMD Pulse Pro hands-on? Hopefully do you one better than that. I'm hoping to fully review it, as it's one of the only sub £200 blowers that's actually launched so far in 2024. I have put in my review request with HMD, so fingers crossed. A CP box set playlist says, I enjoy your uniqueness. As much as I watch other tech channels, you are the Chesney Hawks of tech reviews. Nobody I'd rather be. And much like Ward Chesney, in about 10 years time I'll probably be making a living by touring student unions, bumming cheap pints of snake bite off anyone who'll actually make eye contact with me. And last up, Math40s asks, what is the difference between balls and bollocks? I mean, maybe just ask your mum, she's the expert. A huge thank you to everyone who commented last week, much appreciated. Please do tap your comments down below as well, and we will merrily prance away through as many of those as possible next weekend. Speaking of next week, what the f*** is next week? So we've got Google I.O. kicking off on Tuesday the 14th, so you can expect all kinds of pixely type shenanigans at that. Hopefully some more hot, juicy Android 15 goss as well. And then, as discussed earlier, Sony's smartphone launch type shenanigans happen on Wednesday the 15th, so hopefully can bring you some hot video action of all that soon. And more excitingly, I've actually been sent a home brew machine, which can turn a load of gritty water into precious booze in just over a week. And that first batch should actually be ready just in time for me to shoot Techspert Weekly next week. So you could probably put a bit of money on that featuring quite heavily in next week's episode. But a massive thank you to everyone who supports the show and the channel by watching all this bollocks right to the bitter end. Very much appreciated indeed. Hope you guys have a freaking wonderful weekend, and I'll hopefully catch you next week. Cheers, I love you.